Okay. All right. Gonna start with slides. There won't be that many slides today because we'll do mostly review, but there are going to be a few. Okay, so aside from the homework, the last homework of chapter 7, we're gonna review some of the grammar that we have encountered, mostly around verbs and how we conjugate them and why we do that. And then also look at adjectives, including its form. And then probably we also dive into particles some more, especially with ga, but then also some other particles potentially. And we see how we do today's lesson, meaning that I would like to focus a little bit more time on the things that might be not as clear yet. But before we do that, today's 14th of March. So remember how to say today is the 14th of March.
今日は
3月14日
Very good. はい、今日は3月14日です。And it's also Pi です。Pi Day, which is 円周率の日です。Just FYI. Because it's March 14. All right, cool. So let's start with the homework, workbook, page 72. And here we have some idioms right away, right? So for Yasuo is not tall, what do we say there?
I have Yasuo-san. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong page.
It sounded right though.
Yasuo-san wa Yasuo-san wa sen ga takaku nai desu.
はい、背が高くないですな。sen, but 背が高くないです。Very good. はい。Yasuo is very bright.
やばちゃん、安尾さんは頭がいいです。
Very good. Yeah, Yasu-san wa, and you can also add とっても or すごく頭がいいです。But yeah, the important part is 頭がいいです。Very good.
Oh.
And Norio is wearing a new t-shirt today.
今、のりょうさんは T シャツを新しくてきます。
Almost. So, oops. So instead of ima, we say kyo, right? Because today.
Oh, sorry. I saw.
I'm sure you wrote it.
And I misread it.
大丈夫. And then Norio-san wa, and then the adjective of new, we can just put it in front of t-shirt, right? So atarashi t-shatsu means a new t-shirt. And then we use the particle o with kiteimasu. She's wearing it right now, right? So we have the teiu form here. And we might.
I'm oh, sorry. Like, so, what?
So we have kyo Norio-san wa atarashii t-shirts o kiteimasu.
Atarashi t-shirt. Okay.
And I'm
So
sure we'll.
How come atarashi isn't like a kite thing or kute thing?
Oh, because we don't connect multiple adjectives here. It is just a new t-shirt, right? If we wanted to connect several adjectives, if we wanted to say it's a new and expensive t-shirt, we can say 新しくて高い t-shirts, right? Or if we flip the order, saying first expensive and then new, we replace the e of takai to kute. So there we would say takakute atarashi t-shirts. Right, so we use the te form of adjectives to connect multiple adjectives, but here we are only describing that the t-shirt is new, so we don't have to use the te form of the adjective. So we just say atarashi t-shirts to mean new t-shirt.
Okay.
So the formula that we had doesn't apply to this sentence. The topic wa, subject ga, adjective des.
No, because you're doing the action here, right? Of wearing a new t-shirt today. So, and so I guess the topic was subject adjective, right? There are certain places where we do that, but in this case, we also describe an action. So we have to add a verb to it, right? So we essentially use some of the older formulas that we had. The only difference is here we use the te-il form to describing that she's wearing the t-shirt right now, today. But I'm sure we'll. So that's the short answer, and it might become more clear as we go over grammar review.
Okay.
Right. So next one, Noyo is thin, but Yasuo is overweight.
So this is what I wrote down. Norio-san wa yasete. Hold on. Yasete mas. Demo. Yasuo-san wa futoru desu.
Yeah, futotte imasu, no? Because futo is just a verb, right? And we don't have a verb and then follow that up by des.
This is a dictionary form.
So to be overweight, right? Futo means to gain weight, essentially, right? And now it is the result of a change, right? The change is, or the ongoing, but the result is still in effect based on the previous action of gaining weight, right? So Yasu essentially gained weight, and he still deals with that, meaning he's overweight, right? So that's where the te-il form comes into place. So Norio-san wa yasete imasu ga, or demo, both are fine. Yasuo-san wa futotte imasu. Hey. Next, the child was lost, and now we are describing what she's wearing, etc. So what do you have written for the cap?
I have hoshi wa aka desu.
Yeah, boji wa akai desu, no?
Akai?
Yeah, akai as the color for red, right? Or we can also say that she's wearing a hat, so we can say boshi o kabutte imasu. Right?
Wait, what's the difference between aka and akai?
Grammar structure. Aka is a noun, but akai is the adjective, and to describe, it comes back essentially to. So in extra why this, right? We initially started with describing a noun with another noun, but in this case, the adjective would be the better description.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for just the color. Mm-hmm. But both are fine, I would say. What about the hair, James-san?
I wrote, 妹は髪が長いです。
Very good. Yeah. As for my sister, her hair is long. So kami ga nagai desu. Very good. Glasses. Someone.
I have メガネは大きくてです。
Okikute desu. So Megan, if you want to say the glasses are big, you don't have to use the te form of adjectives. So you would just say megane wa ookii desu, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or you can also say, well, she is wearing glasses, and for wearing glasses, we use kakeru. So megane o kakete imasu. She's wearing glasses right now. What about her eyes?
I wrote, 妹は目が大きいです。
Very good. Mega ookii desu. Very good. And the clothes above the waistline? Katya-san?
T シャツは可愛くてです。
Kawaii desu na. T-shirt wa kawaii desu. Her t-shirt is cute. Or again, you can say she's wearing a shirt. T-shirt wo kitemasu. Or if you wanted to say she's wearing a cute t-shirt, you can say kawaii t-shirt wo kitemasu.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Wait, this is what I wrote, and I think I'm just missing the verb. So I wrote, 妹は T-shirt をいます.
Yeah, you're missing the word. Yeah. T-shirt wo kitemasu. はい、切っています。
Okay.
And clothes below the waistline.
So I wrote down, 妹はジーンズ, and I think it should be ジーンズ着ておいます.
Jeans を履いています。So for wearing different, so in Japanese, you describe, so for example, to wear a hat, you use kabu. So 帽子をかぶっています。For a t-shirt, you use 着てます。T シャツを着てます。For jeans or shoes below the waistline, you use 履く。So you use jeans を履いています。
Interesting.
Like a hakama.
For number 3, I want to go over this one and see if my answer is right. I wrote, 妹は髪がwhat does it say? 髪がみがねです。
髪が for number 3?
Yeah. Migane desu. So I'm trying to say her head has glasses.
Her head has glasses?
Yeah.
Can you say again?
妹は髪がmigane desu.
Kami?
Is that, did I get the wrong noun? Oh, it's
Kami.
atama. It's atama.
Oh, atama.
Atama's head, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it should be 妹は頭がmigane desu.
So her head is glasses.
Would that be? I guess it would be understood, but not correct.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, her head is just a bunch of glasses or just glasses. I think that those would be very noticeable. Yeah, if you see a person whose head looks like glasses, that's her, then that would make sense. But probably megane o kakete masu would be a better description.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Let's look at page 73, number 1. So we have restaurant no tabemono wa, and then complete the sentence.
Yasute oishii desu.
Yasute oishii desu. Very good. 2番、私の町は、Katya-san?
私の町は静かでつまらなくてです。
Almost つまらないです。Right? So 私の町は静かでつまらないです。You do not need to replace the E and the E. So you don't have to replace the final adjectives, I guess, dictionary form into its te form, whether that be a na adjective or E adjective, because it's the last in the row, right? Just like in verbs, where we discovered the te form of first. If I describe two actions that come afterwards or at the same time, right? I can say, miso o nonde, I drink water. Hon o yomimasu, like I drank water and then I read a book. That's it, right? So first, the first or all of the verbs in a series of actions, I have to change into its te form, except for the very last one, right? So like, I woke up, 起きて、コーヒーを飲んで、宿題をして、友達に会います, right? So everything up to the 友達に会います is in its te form, but not the last verb, because that is kind of the end of the sentence. It also describes which, like whether I use past tense or non-past, that's all in the last verb. So, and similarly, this is also the case for the adjectives, where you just connect like different adjectives to describe the topic, right? In this case, watashi no machi wa. And then, so shizuka, you said shizuka de, which is correct, right? Because it's a na adjectives, and the te form of the na adjective, we just have the na adjective without the na, and then replace the na, which is not there, and with the de, and then you continue using te forms except for the very last one. So if you wanted to switch those out, saying my town is boring and quiet, so you switch the order, then you would say, watashi no machi wa tsumaranakute shizuka desu, right? Because now you flip the order and you would need to conjugate the adjective, the first adjective into its te form, and then the final adjective, you leave it in the form that we have learned first, which is just essentially the dictionary form. Does it make a little bit more sense?
Not really.
Okay, we go over that in more detail.
Okay.
はい、3番、私の猫は
私の猫はとっても小さくて かわいいです。
Very good. Yeah. とっても小さくて、or すごく小さくて、かわいいです。Very good. はい。4番、私の部屋は、かきやさん。
私の部屋は、よくきれいで新しくてです。
Almost, right? So, とてもきれいで、新しいです。So, the final adjective we just keep in its base form as well. はい。And then, 5番、ジェームスさん。
5番、この寺は古くて面白いです。
この寺は古くて面白いです。はい、very good. ななみさんは6番。
I don't know.
What's the first one?
I don't know. I just know that it's wrong.
Okay. 大丈夫です。はい、ジェームスさん、お願いします。
さんは髪が長くて、大きいです。my bad. I forgot the noun. It should be 目が大きいです。
はい、髪が長くて目が大きいです。Very good. Exercise 2, feel free to put it in Discord. And then this is kanji exercise. So we have, made a mistake there. Number 1.
Wait.
Okay, so, hi. So we have 東京で京子さんのお父さんに会いました。2番、we have 父と母は毎日会社に行きます。3番、子供。You can write ども in hiragana, which is totally fine. 子供は8時に学校に行って、5時に家に帰りました。4番、このケーキは小さくて高いです。5番、サークルに入っています。And then 6番、we have 高校で日本語と文学を勉強しました。And then for same page, Roman numeral 2, we have 京子さんの妹さんは高校生です。Right? If you have a different translation here, please let me know. Or if you have questions on those. 2番, we have 京子さんのお母さんは小さい会社で働いています。3番、父は毎日遅く家に帰ります。So late is 遅い, right, or slow. And but here it is an adverb, so we use 遅く。4番、私は日本語と文学を勉強しています。So when you initially we said like 日本語を勉強します, right? But you see actually more often 勉強する as it's with the te form, especially if you're studying as something at a school, for example, like Japanese and literature, right? そういうもう勉強しています。南さんは少し英語を話します。Any questions on these?
I don't think I have that kanji written down.
Skoshi, yeah, that's why I put the furigana on top of here as well. But yeah, we almost know it already. So because we know chi and chi side, right, which is the top part, and then down here, this is really the katakana no. So we kind of know it, but we haven't studied it yet. Yeah, that is right. Same with a go. Of course, we know go, but here the a, we don't know that yet. Should have put furigana on it. And yep, so that is enough with slides. For now. Okay, let me. So I think the first thing that I want to do is kind of go over the verb conjugation in via must form.
Sure.
Okay.
So over here. Okay, so for the must form, we have two, well, really three forms of verbs. We have ichidan doshi, we have godan doshi, and then we have a couple of irregular verbs as well. Right. So let's start with the ichidan doshi. We have something like taberu, for example, right? So ta, ne. Okay, so with taberu, right, to eat, this is the dictionary form, and it's also in itself, we know that through the manga reading club, we know that this means to eat by itself in informal Japanese. And lesson 8, actually, the next lesson will, there's a lot of additional grammar that allows you to really understand more of informal Japanese as well. But let's stick with the must form right now. So with ichidan doshi, all we have to do is remove the u and attach must to it. Ichidan doshi, what Genki calls ru-verbs, you can identify them as having iru or eru endings like beru, but as we already know, that is not really a good indicator at all, because there are plenty of verbs that we've already encountered ending in eru or iru that do not fall into this category, unfortunately, right? So we have to learn, as we learn the dictionary form, whether that's a godan doshi or ichidan doshi. So for taberu, the must form tabe mas, right? And tabe mas, meaning to eat, right? And this is the non-past affirmative, right? So tabe mas, meaning I eat, you eat, etc., right? In the non-past meaning it is something in the present or in the future. And this is used in formal speech, right? Or like in, I guess, everyday speech to where you don't, when you talk to strangers, for example, as well, you also use the must form, right? To your boss, depending on hierarchy, there's of course keigo, like very polite, honorific speech, but with the must form, it's pretty standard. So if I wanted to say I don't eat, I say tabemasen. Right, that is the negative non-past. Then we also learned past tense, so meaning I ate. Right, we have tabemashita. We have tabemashita, I ate, etc. So I'm a little lazy, but this all stays the same. Tabe, which is the stem, that stays the same. The only thing that changes is the ending. If I wanted to say I didn't eat, now we're dealing with the past negative, we would say tabemasen deshita. Right? And we also know, so we have tabemasen, right? But we attach also deshita in the verb here. We know deshita as also the copula, actually, right? The past. So because we know gakusei desu, like I'm a student. But then we also have gakusei deshita. I was a student, right? That's the same deshita here. But this is, yes.
Can you define what a copula is?
Yeah, a copula is essentially, so in Japanese, it's da, des, deshita, etc. That is the part that essentially tells you something is, was, are, etc. So it is kind of similar as the verb to be in English. But I guess it's more of a statement, something is, right? Or,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So that are the must forms, right? So we have tabe, which is essentially the stem, right? And then we have taberu, which is the dictionary form. And then for ichidan doshi, we just drop the ru and then attach mas, masen, mashita, or masen deshita to cover both past and non-past and affirmative and negative.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on this part so far?
So tabe, let me just recap it. Tabe is the stem, taberu is the dictionary form, and then tabemas is the mas form, also known as the long form.
Correct, yeah.
So it's gonna be like tabe, taberu. Are there other verbs that are gonna be this?
Yeah. So all of the ichidan doshi, right? So iru is actually one of the. It's also a ichidan doshi, right? To exist, like. This one, right? So for animate objects to exist, iru, imasu, imasen, imashita, imasen, deshita. right? That's another one.
Okay. How do I know that something is a ichiran doshi?
Yeah. So ideally, well, so as you learn new vocabulary, as you learn new verbs, it would be good to learn that at a time. So jisho.org, for example, tells you. So dictionaries usually tell you whether a verb is a is a ichidan doshi or godan doshi. In Genki, those are called ru-verbs, right? But you can be sure if something is not well, not necessarily. So there are certain qualifications, right? So this ends in iru, right? So you have iru or something with eru. But it can also be, as in the case with taberu, you have be before the ru, right? But it's still, and that's why the name is so horrible. But essentially it ends with eru. That doesn't necessarily mean it is a ichidan doshi, but it potentially can be.
So toru and wakaru are not ichiran doshi?
Correct, right? Because they don't end with, while they end with u, they don't end with iru or eru, right?
Okay.
They have aru at the end.
So or okay.
Can we briefly go over affirmative and negative? So mas is present affirmative.
Genki calls it present. I'd recommend using non-past because it can be present or future. But yeah, must is positive, affirmative, yeah.
Okay, and then masen is non-past negative.
Correct.
Mashita is non-past affirmative. And
sorry. Mashita is past affirmative.
I'm sorry. And then masen deshita is past negative.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Okiru is not an ichiran doshi?
It is actually, because, okay, good question. So let's do that. Okiru, to get up, right? So, okiru, right? What is the must form of okiru?
Okimasu.
Okimasu, right? That matches exactly this one. Oops, this is a horrible
And Neru also an ichiran doshi?
Neru is also a ichiran doshi, right? And we know that because we know, and you can also, if you know the dictionary form and the must form, you know whether you have a dictionary, whether you have a ichiran doshi or a godan doshi, because okiru, the stem is the same here in okimasu, okimasen, okimashita, okimasen deshita. The same for neru. We just have ne, and then we have nemas, nemasen, nemashita, nemasen deshita, right?
For mimas too then?
Yeah, nemas, same thing, right? It's all the same. And so on and so on. Yep. Very good.
So I'm just going through all of the verbs that we've covered so far. So iru and then dekakeru.
Yeah. To go out, right?
So like all of the ones in Genki that are considered ru-verbs are ichidan doshi?
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So then open, close, teach, forget, get off, borrow, take a shower, turn on. And then kaeru?
Okay.
Irregular though, right?
It's not irregular. There's only two irregulars, which are suru and ku. Kaeru is a godan doshi, but it's not considered an irregular verb. But it's, yeah. Shall we start with that one? Okay, that's kaeru, right? As in to return.
So it is an ichidan doshi.
No. Because what is the must form of kaeru?
Kimasu.
Yeah. Kaeru? Kaeru is to return. Right? So kaeru.
Wait, sorry, are we still on ichidan doshi? No?
You asked me, no, you asked me about kaeru.
Okay. I just am trying to understand what is and isn't an ichidan doshi.
Okay.
So everything in Genki that is listed as a ru-verb is considered ichidan doshi.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. But kaeru, even though it ends with u, is not a ru-verb. It's not an ichidan doshi.
Okay.
So kaeru is listed as an u-verb, a godan doshi, right? Okay. So these are a little bit tricky because the must form of kaeru is not kaemasu. There is a kaeru, which we don't know yet, but the kaeru that we know, which means to return, right, is a u verb because the must form is what? Jameson, do you know?
I'm sorry, I was typing up a table for the verbs.
Hi.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, do you know the must form of kaeru, to return?
Yeah, it's kaimasu.
No.
Kiku.
Because it's not the ichidan doshi, it's kaerimasu, right?
Kaerimasu. Oh, right, because you have to minus the u, add the imasu.
Yeah. So back to Katya-san's question, how do I know if something is ichidan doshi or godan doshi? If I have a verb that ends with eru, which technically could be ichidan doshi, but I know its must form is different than what it would be if this was a ichidan doshi, because as Jameson said, if kaeru, like this kaeru, was a ichidan doshi, then it would be kaemasu, not kaerimasu, right? So that disqualifies this specific kaeru as a ichidan doshi because its must form does not align with how a ichidan doshi would conjugate. And what you do instead with godan doshi, you take the final particle, which in this case is u, and switch it to the equivalent e row, right? So we have ra, ri, ru, ro, right? So here we change the ru to ri, and we have kaerimasu. right? And then so this kaeru, which we're talking about the one that means to return. We have kaeru in the dictionary form, the must form, kaerimasu, kaerimasen, kaerimashita, and kaerimasen deshita.
Okay. So for u-verbs, we have to convert the ru.
Yeah, and it is so yeah. If a verb that is ending on ru is a godan doshi, we have to turn the ru into ri, and then after that we attach mas, masen, mashita, masen deshita. Right. This is for the mas form, which Jameson informed us also is considered the long form in Genki.
Yeah, I just get confused when they don't refer to it as the same thing.
Yeah, because I also didn't see it actually in the textbook, and then we had it in a table, right?
Yeah, I'm putting it in a table so I can understand it in its entirety.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the copula part, that's all the part in purple.
The what part?
The copula, that's the
no, there's no copula here. Sorry. Copula is da, des, deshta, etc.
Oh, it's only those?
Yeah. Sorry.
So mas is not considered a copula?
No, technically, but almost no Japanese book, at least in English literature, actually addresses must as what it really is. It's actually its own little thing. But,
what would you call the purple section? The suffix?
Yeah, suffix.
Okay.
Yeah, suffix is good, right? Mas, masen, mashita, masen deshita.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So, okay. Can we move on to some other godan doshi?
Yes.
So like nomu, kiku, hanasu, yomu, all of those are godan doshi.
Yep, very good, very good. Okay, which one do you want?
I guess, hold on, sorry. I'm literally writing down every single one.
That's fine, that's fine.
What is, the taking pictures one is the one that kind of messes me up.
Oh,
like,
total.
Yeah, is that's the Ichiran doshi, right?
No, it's a godan doshi because we have torimasu.
Tori.
Yeah, let's do that.
That was the one. So and then there's like two, right? So these are the ones that are like they have weird shit going on with them, right?
They do. They have weird shit going on. That is true. Okay. So to, just like the kaeru we were talking about just a moment ago, right? Also ends with wu, but it's not a ru-verb. It's not a ichidan doshi. It's a godan doshi. And we know that because toru, like as in shashi no toru, like to take pictures. We know the dictionary form is toru, but then the must form is torimasu, right?
Right.
So, and also this is actually a little bit easier to identify because it's to, it's not T, which is not really a common sound in Japanese, or te, it's not teru, right? which could make it potentially ichidan doshi, right? But here it's o, like to before the u, so that wouldn't even work, right? So again, as in any godan doshi, we take the final syllable, the ru in this case, and make its equivalently i role. So u becomes ri. So torimasu, torimasen, torimashita, torimasen, deshita.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, let me screenshot it real quick.
Oh, go man. Well, you also have the recording.
Okay.
And the workbooks. Okay. So it's the same thing with Kyle, right? So the ru becomes ri.
There's a ka there instead of an e or a e. That's what makes it a godan doshi.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, so wakaru, because it's got the ka there, that's what's making it a godan doshi.
Yeah, it's already, yeah, it cannot be ichidan doshi. So I guess this last part here, right? We have something u, and it becomes something i, right? As for the final. And then, so toru becomes torimasu, torimasen, torimashita, torimasen deshita.
Okay.
Okay. Did you get your screenshot, Jameson?
I got it.
Okay.
Toru becomes tori.
Okay. Let's do some other godan doshi that do not end in ru.
So like kaku to write.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'd be
Kaku.
kakimasu.
Very good. Kaku becomes ki. Right.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Kiki. So there's to ask, which is kiku. But then isn't there also to listen? Is that?
Yeah, and that depends actually on the particle usage. So you have ongaku o kiku or ongaku o kikimasu, which means to listen to music. But then you also have sensei ni kikimasu, which means to ask teacher. So that comes down to particle usage to in order what meaning.
I see. So there's two kikus.
Yeah, it's the same word, but its meaning, like its specific meaning, derives from particle usage.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, so to write kaku, right, as Katya-san said, kakimasu, right, and then the rest is the same: kakimasen, kakimashita, kakimasen, deshita. And then for kiku, I'm gonna do that next because I don't have to change a lot.
But what's the formula? It's you take the u.
You convert the ru into its e form, and then the mas ending.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have ku, right? So we have something u. So verbs in dictionary form always end in something u, like taberu. Like, yes, it's ru, but it's the u part of the, I guess, hiragana rule. Kaeru, what did we have before? Kaku, right? Or toru, all u's. And for godandoshi, that last syllable, that u syllable becomes e, right? Ku becomes ki, u becomes li, right? If we deal with the godandoshi. So for kiku, did we already have the, yeah, we were the kanji. So for kiku, I think we did.
Yeah, spirit. Right,
so this is kiku, right? Stays the same. Kiku, I'm just gonna get down there right now. It's a little faster. Okay, so it's the same. Kaku, kiku, they both end on ku. So we don't really have to do anything different in terms of conjugation. Right? Yes. So the u of kiku, or the ku in this case, we change the ku to its equivalent e. So ka ki ku ke ko. So we use ki, right? Kikimasu, kikimasen, kikimashita, kikimasen deshita.
So would it be fair to say you replace the u with the I with the e?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. So this is that little box up there.
Okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do a few more. What else should we cover for what other godandoshi should we conjugate into its must form?
The other one that I was having a hard time with. Oh, I guess it's the same thing as the picture one, which is tabako wo su.
Tabako o su. Very good. Yeah, let's do that one. So tabako su. Oh, right? Okay. Let's try and do that. That is it's a difficult one, right? But the rules are the same. So what is the must form? Or can you talk me through what you would do, Katya-san?
So you would convert the u into an e. So it'd be suimasu, and suimashita, and then suimasen deshita.
Very good. Perfect. You got it. You got it.
So the tobacco is basically like just an annoying add-on to that verb, which makes it a smoking.
Yeah.
But here the verb actually is su, or su. I see.
Yeah, because su can also mean to inhale. You can inhale certain different things.
Oh, I see.
So
the actual verb here is su.
Exactly, and then we use the tabako o, the o particle, to declare, okay, the tobacco is actually the direct object, right? Okay. It's the tobacco that I'm inhaling, essentially.
Okay.
Very good.
So, when we say like yasumi nasai, so that's conjugated from yasumu.
Yes. So
and then nasai is like, please go do this thing.
Yes, right. But with that, I also said, so grammatically, you're absolutely correct, right? Nasai, which we actually haven't covered like really in Genki, but we know through Yotsuba. Nasai is something that you would say in a place of, I guess, authority over another person to some degree, like a parent to a child, right? But for Yasumi Nasai, that really has become a set phrase in a way that you are not ordering someone to take a rest, take a break, or to go to sleep, right? Because here, Yasumu means to take a break, to rest, right? It can also mean to be absent, right? Remember Robato-san, who took Friday off, right? And then he was in terrible shape for the next class. So that's a little bit different, but you're right? Yasumu conjugates yasumi and an asai. And we see that E form in a couple of other places as well, right?
Okay.
And it's very, very useful. So being able to conjugate and really become comfortable with it is something that will pay off great dividends later on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do another Godan Doshi. What should we do?
Hairu?
Enter?
Hairu?
Yeah, another that ends with ru, but it's not actually a ichidan doshi.
So then hairi, you convert the ri.
Hai. You're right. Hai. Oops. Let's.
So when you write the, oh, okay, yeah, you wrote it. So I would write, it looks like hito. I know it's not hito, but it looks like hito, the kanji.
I think it is. You just have to read it differently. You stepped away. Can you hear us?
Yep. So sumimasen. Yeah, it's the. Oh wait, I think I made a mistake.
That's not. No, that's the kanji for enter.
Yeah. It is. So that is correct.
Next at the top. Enter connects in the middle.
Yeah, it is actually. The E is actually part of this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks similar to Hito, but Hito is the other way, right? Hito is this one. This one. And then typed, Hito looks more like
Yeah.
kind of like this, and then typed Hairu kind of looks like something like that. Okay. Yeah, so hairu, haimasu, haimasen, haimashita, haimasen deshita, right? So again, a lot of, and this is a good example, right? I asked you, it's like, okay, tell me some Godan Doshi, right? Which are u-verbs, right? But they end with u here as well. So yeah, the name is, it's not super useful.
And it also has the E in there. High
Exactly, yeah.
So is this one of the rare ones that it remains the u verb?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
for something like motsu, it's mochi, right? Because it's.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good. Let's do motsu. Oops. There. Motsu. Comes chi. Mochimasu, mochimasen, mochimashita, mochimasen deshita. Right, very good. Same with matsu, right, to wait. machimasu, machimasen, machimashita, machimasen deshita, nomu, nomimasu, nomimasen, nomimashita, nomimasen deshita, yomu, yomimasu, yomimasen, yomimashita, yomimasen deshita.
Are there any verbs that are you, that end in you?
Oh, you mean like ya, you, yo?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge. No, because in modern Japanese, there's also no yi. We only have ya, you, yo.
Okay.
In the past, maybe. But yeah.
So pretty much if it ends with u, su, ku, tsu, mu, something ru, that's not e or e, and then fu. I think that's all of them.
What ends with who?
Huh? Ku?
Oh,
Hiku?
ku. Yeah, ku. Yeah, ku, gu. Yeah.
That's technically u, right?
Yeah, those are still.
I said that's technically still u. Kiku.
Kikimasu, right? Yeah. Yeah. I think there's only one new word, like that would be shinu, like shinimasu.
Oh no.
Right? I think that's the only one in modern Japanese, to be honest. I can't think of any other one.
What's shino? To die?
To die, yeah. Right? And then let me write that out because I see a lot of people making mistakes with that one. So we have she.
That's from last chapter.
Shino, right? So what do we do here for the must form? Or what's the must form of shino?
So it'd be she, ni, right?
Yeah, very good.
Shinimasu.
Very good. Shinimasu.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it sounds really weird.
Yeah, but it's correct. It does sound really weird. Yeah. So very good. And those are all the ichidan, or those are essentially how we conjugate ichidan and doshi and godan doshi into must form. Right. So there are two irregular verbs. So let's cover those real quick. And so one is suru. Right. And do we remember the must form of suru?
Shimasu.
Shimasu, very good. So suru becomes shimasu. Right, and then the rest is the same. Shimasen, shimashita, shimasen deshita. Right, and the other one is kuru. Right, to come. Do you remember the must form of kuru?
Kimasu.
Oh, sorry, can you say again?
Kimasu.
Do you say kimas?
Kimasu.
Ah, yeah. Yep.
So,
very good. Yeah, so we have kimas, kimasen, kimashita, kimasen deshita.
Suru is to do. Kuru is.
And these are the only two irregular verbs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, kuru is to come, right? Okay, so the other thing that Genki makes, so to play tennis, right? Tennisu, su. Genki would put that as a irregular verb, right? They actually did that or to study, benkyosu. It's not a separate verb, right? The irregular aspect of this is su, right? That's the only thing. Because essentially, by that logic, you would not have two irregular verbs. You have a literally unlimited amount of irregular verbs, because all you do is you put a noun or a title of a game, right? And then attach su. Now you have another irregular verb, which is no, because what makes it irregular is su, not whatever noun you have in front of it. Like, it doesn't matter if it's tenusu, gamusu, benkyosu. The only irregular verb, the actual verb, is su, which is in its past form shimasu. Let's see. So su and ku are really the only two irregular verbs that we have.
So what about existence? Because there's aru and iru, right?
Yeah, you will be covered.
Well, what about aru? So aru is an u-verb?
Yep. So it's so we have wu, right? So how would we conjugate it?
Ari.
Arimasu. And why?
Arimasu. I see. Because it's an u-verb.
And then to put it into its mas form, we
you have to convert the ru.
To ri, right? To again the e part, I guess the e row or e column, depending how you map it out, but of ru, right? We have ri, ru, re, o. So we have ri. That's why the mas form of aru becomes arimasu.
So the book has also to call, to bring, a person, a thing, are all listed as irregular verbs, but in reality those are u-verbs.
Yeah, because what are those verbs in Japanese?
So denwa suru, which is
to make a call, right? Denwa is the noun. Denwa su. So su.
Okay.
That's why it's
what about?
Sorry. Go ahead.
But what about like Oh, I see. So because they end in suru and kuru, they're technically considered. I see. It's because they have that in there. I understand.
Yeah, and it's so mot deku, right? And we go into the te form just in a moment, right? Motsu is to hold, to carry, right? And ku is to come. So to bring something is, well, I'm holding, I'm carrying something, and then I come, while probably still holding that thing. So I bring something. So that's why Genki says, oh, this is irregular, which it's really not, because you have the te form of motsu, and then you have the irregular verb, which is cool. I still think it's a good idea to learn those, I guess, common combinations, right? What is actually being used, like to bring something, motteku, for example. But technically, it's not its own irregular verb.
So what about kekkon suru?
Same
Because
thing.
it doesn't have the te form in it though.
No, because denwasu doesn't have its te form as well. Tenisusu doesn't have te form, but what makes those are all listed under irregular verbs, and it's because su is being used.
Okay, got it. So it's specifically the suru part that technically makes it a. Got it. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, because kekkon in itself is also marriage, or sorry, wedding, not marriage, wedding.
And that's the event that changes a thing, and then.
Yeah, because so kekkon suru means essentially to get married, right?
Right.
Or to have a wedding, and So when you say kekkon shimasu, right, the must form of sugo is shimasu. So kekkon shimasu means to get married, right? To have a wedding, to get married.
Okay.
And the te form, one of the usages of the te form in combination with iru, which means to exist also by itself, right? An animate thing exists. But kekkon shite imasu means essentially, just in English terms, I am married, meaning the wedding happened and it's still in, like the result is still in effect. The result being you got married, now you're married, and you're still married.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, cool. So with that, let's move into the te form.
Okay.
Ready for the te form?
So te forms are adjectives?
No.
Oh.
No. Let's see what te form makes a te form. So let's start with the ichidan doshi again.
So if we're doing ichidan doshi, that's verbs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, let's talk about the te form of verbs. We'll go to adjectives later. So right now, te form of verbs. Some of the things will apply to adjectives, but let's just think of the te form right now in terms of verbs. Okay, so we have our old friend to eat, taberu, right? And we know for the must form, we just drop the ru and then attach must, right? To conjugate ichidan doshi into its te form, we just drop the ru and replace it with te. So we have tabe, te, tabete. Okay. So, and this is also one important part about ichidan doshi. Next week, we'll go into more informal Japanese, right? But in terms of ichidan doshi, so there will be some, like ru and te will be replaced by something else. But in terms of ichidan doshi, the stem stays the same. All you have to worry about is what ending, what suffix you use. So that is essentially the secret behind ichidan doshi. You know, it's a ichidan doshi, you know how you want to conjugate, that's fine, you have to only worry about that, but the stem always stays the same. It's always, in case of taberu, it's always tabe. And then if you want to use the te form, you have the tabe, the stem, and it says te. If you want to put it into must form, right? Non-past affirmative, you have tabe and then must. Tabe always stays the same.
So, is there like a past, present, non-past, affirmative, and negative for all of these?
Not for the te form. So
okay, te form has no time and no negativity.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, because we go to how to conjugate Godan doshi in a second, but also one way how we can use te form is the example that I used earlier was a series of action, like or doing multiple things, right? So for example, I say tabete, and then I eat and then I go to sleep, for example, right? So let's do tabete nemasu.
Should probably mute.
All right. So tabete nemasu means I eat and then I'll sleep. All right. There are two actions. I can have multiple action. I can say okite, like I got up, tabete, or sorry, okite, tabete, I don't know what tense yet, and then say nemasu, meaning I get up, eat, and then sleep, right? So I can say mainichi okite tabete nemasu. Every day I get up, then eat, then sleep. Like lay down again, right? And as Katya-san profoundly said so, the te form in itself doesn't have any time associated with it, right? Now, and that really has nothing to do with the te form, but more how the te form is used overall. Instead of saying tabete nemasu, I say tabete nemashita. Right? This now means I ate and then slept, right? But tabete in itself does not change. It's connecting verbs to other verbs or to other things within the sentence.
So the suffix mashita will apply to both verbs then, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I wanted, so all of the negation and time lands on the last verb, but te form doesn't take a negation. So how do I say that I didn't eat or sleep?
Yeah, that actually we cover next week because it's a little bit more complicated.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So all we know for now is that the first however many te verbs are always going to be I did this thing, I did this thing, I did this thing, and then the very last one could either be positive or negative, and also dictates time.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. So verb and verb, te, and then conjugated verb. So negation or and time. Okay.
Another useful, I guess, structure of the te form is the verb and its te form and then plus kudasai. It's just, making a polite request like tabete kudasai, please eat, right? So that in itself is a whole sentence. Saying please eat or tabete. Tabete kudasai we use, right? There's a couple of other things, but that's one way how we encourage someone to do something. Please eat.
So the te form plus kudasai makes it a command or a request command, sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
So for ichidan doshi verbs, you just replace the ru for te.
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna write that down.
Okay. Before we go into some other usages of the te form, maybe we should look at conjugation for godan doshi. Unfortunately, that is a little bit more complex.
Okay.
Okay.
So these are u-verbs now that we're moving on to.
Correct, yeah. Godan doshi u-verbs.
Oh, is to meet, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the te form of au?
I.
It's at.
Okay. So this one is getting converted to, wait, this is a te conversion?
Yes.
Because there's de, and then there's like the su, te, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. And there's a couple. Actually, let me. I want to see. Oh, there we are. Okay. Oh, same thing. So on 150 page, on page 150, this is where you have a little bit of an overview. There you have a table of the te form, right? This one down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna write some examples too. So let's see. Because earlier we had motsu, right? Where we know the must form is mochimasu.
It's this one.
I wrote the small u instead of small tsu. I didn't know what to tell me. I was about to do it again.
I wasn't sure, but I felt like it was supposed to be a tsu, and I didn't want to say anything.
Please call me out on my bullshit. Thank you. All right. Okay. So also, so u and su changes to small tsu and te in its te form. And we have the same thing for ru, right? Toru, for example, right? We have shashi no toru, shashi no torimasu, right? So that to take.
Sorry, what's motsu?
Oh, motsu is to carry or hold.
Motsu.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mottekimasu, right? That's exactly that motsu and mottekimasu. Mottekimasu meaning to bring something, right? But then you can use it to say, by itself, motsu just means to carry or to hold. I probably should have used matsu to wait. Yeah.
Oh, so matsu is also.
Right. And how you conjugate those godan doshi into their te form depends again on the last syllable of the dictionary form.
Te?
Right? So for godan doshi that end on u, su, or ru, they change the form to small su and te, and it's te form. So ao becomes atte, Motsu becomes motte. To becomes totte.
Hold on.
Hi.
How come the ru is part of this? I thought ru was a different formula.
Because it's not. It's just not.
Exactly, it's just not. So toru is not a ichidan doshi.
Oh,
Right.
right.
Because it's tori.
Because it actually is goran doshi, even though it ends with ru. Oh,
Exactly.
right. This is the part I would get so confused about.
Yeah. Right. Toru is a little bit easier. So if you, as Katya-san said, right? Because it's torimas, right? So, because the must form of ignoring the fact that it has to and not te or ti, right? So that in itself cannot be ichidan doshi, right? But for the must form of ichidan doshi, we know we drop the ru and then we attach mas. So I guess it would be tomas, right? Which is not a word, but a name of my cousin, right? We know that's not the case. So to is a godan doshi, and it ends with u. So we know its te form will be the u will be replaced by small tsu and te, so it becomes top te. So those endings u, tsu, and ru, they all change to small tsu and te in the te form. So let's look at mu. For example, nomu, yomu, what else?
Shinu. To die.
Oh, that's new, right?
Oh.
Yomu. Let's do to read. Right.
Yeah, these are irregular.
Which are irregular?
Yomi? It becomes like yonde.
It's not irregular.
Well, I mean, it's different.
It's different. It is different. So we have yomu, right? And you said it becomes what?
Yonde.
Yonde, very good.
It's the one I remember.
Yeah. Yonde. So mu becomes nde. And then some other things that, some other endings that turn into nde is bu, as in asobu.
Did you say fu or boo?
Bu. I don't think there is anything with fu.
We haven't learned any at
Wait,
least.
shouldn't that have 10 then?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Right. And then the last one that turns to nde is nu. And again, the only verb that I can think of that ends on nu is shinu. And now I'm out of space. Or you want to take a screenshot or something, and then I'm going to erase.
Okay. One
Okay.
sec. Okay, got it.
Thank you. So next we have verbs that end on ku. We had kaku and kiku, right? Do you recall how they conjugate into te form?
Itte.
Yeah, eat it. Very good. Right? So kaku becomes kaita. So there is unfortunately one exception, right? And the exception is iku to go, right? Let's do this.
Iku.
So iku becomes eat with a small two. You don't say eat.
What? Hold on. A with a small two.
Yeah. So that's an exception. And then what do we have with gu? Like oyogu to swim. What did we learn? Huh. I don't remember oyogu right now that we learned.
A gu? Gu.
Oyogu, sorry.
Oyogu, yeah.
Yeah, oyogu. Oh. Yo. Gu.
Oyo ide. Oyo
Very good. Yeah, oyoide. Oyoide.
Oyoide.
Oh. Yo. Ide. Very good. And then we only have su left. Like let's see. Hanasu, as in not to let go, but to talk. Su. Yeah, let's do hanasu.
Hanashite.
Very good. Hanashite. So yeah, su becomes hanashite. And yeah, those are all the ways we can conjugate godan doshi. So to recap, anything, so for godan doshi, verbs that end in the dictionary form in u, su, or ru get replaced by small su followed by te. Mu, bu, and nu get replaced by nde. Ku gets replaced by ite, exception, iku becomes itte. Then verbs that end with gu become ide. And then su becomes shite. So those are the Godan doshi. And then for our irregular verbs, we have su. And this becomes shte. And then we have ku. And that becomes kita.
So tsuru and kuru. Irregular. Turns into shita. And then kuru comes kita. And then like marriage and like all of those other ones that are kind of weird, just follow whatever it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the marriage one would be shite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ekon shite. Mm-hmm. Tennis wo shite, game wo shite, den wo shite.
And all of these are
Thank you,
still
Steph.
retaining no time and there's no negation.
Correct.
Okay.
Aye. Okay, so is it okay if I clear the whiteboard?
Hi.
I got it. Okay, so we already discussed the usage of te form. You can say, so just describe multiple actions, like a sequence of activities, right? Or to attach kudasai, right? So tabete kudasai. Oh, one word though. So in informal Japanese, and we already discovered that also in Yotsuba, often there's a lot of words and particles unfortunately dropped as well in informal Japanese. So, and that's also the case when it comes to, for example, tabete kudasai, right? To-chan might, if he feels like a little, maybe not to-chan, he's a little rougher in his language, but to-chan could say tabete kudasai to Yotsuba-chan, right? Or just saying tabete, like eat. It's still like, say, please eat. So it's just that the kudasai is dropped. So, you know, when in your with your friends, if you just say, like, for example, to listen to something, right? You have a tune that you want to share. It's like, kite, like not kite kudasai. You can say that, or just kite ne, please listen. So you can also drop the kudasai there. So if you just have the te form by itself, there are chances that kudasai is implied. So just an FYI, but it's not technically super grammatical. But...
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that we discovered in the te form is temo I, like temo I desu or temo I desu ka? Like, is it okay? So for example, so we have ko de, and say tabe This one, 食べてもいいですか? Remember what this means? ここで食べてもいいですか?
Is it okay to eat this?
Here. ここで Almost. It's my handwriting, sorry. It's koko de. Like koko is here, right? Kore. So koko is location word, meaning here, right? So right here. So de, place of action. So is it okay if I eat here?
But if kokode wasn't here, would it be, is it okay to eat this?
Yeah, 食べてもいいですか? Yeah, is it okay to eat here or is it okay to eat this? Yeah, depending on context. Very good. I can also be more explicit.
So kokode will make it clear, like I'm asking you if it's okay to eat here.
Yeah, for example. And then alternatively, what you were also asking, koreo, like this, koreo 食べてもいいですか? So this means, is it okay to eat this? Very good. But the main part, right? We have a te form and then moi. And then since we are using formal, polite Japanese, I follow this up by the copula, des, and the question particle ka. Is it okay to eat, right? So te form plus moi, like, is it okay, right? And then in the answer, you can say, hi, 食べてもいいです, right? Meaning, yes, it's okay. It's okay to eat. So te plus mo i. I meaning good, can also mean suitable, but is it okay to eat here? Or
so
this?
The application of te form.
Exactly. Right?
I remember one of them is prohibitions, and that's the only one I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we get to that in our point. So far, we know how to conjugate te form. We know how to make requests using te kudasai or just te to friends. We can describe multiple activities. Okite, tabete, nemasu, right? And we can also ask if something is okay to do, or say, oh, it's okay to do this. 食べてもいいですよ. It's okay to eat, I'm telling you. Right. Question for that?
Go ahead.
Sorry, so then you also have like kokode or kore wo.
Yeah, that's more specific, right?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So for example, can say, ここでお寿司を食べてもいいですかな? I wonder if it's okay to eat sushi here. ここでお寿司を食べてもいいですかね? Or not, right? But the main point here is てもいい. The activity, is it okay to do that? This is kind of the question around it, right? And it's hard for me to describe it in any other way, right? Because this does not only apply to questions, right? You can make statements with that.
So you could say ite moi desu, which is it's okay to go.
言ってもいいですか？言ってもいいです。はい。Yeah, is it okay to go? 言ってもいいです。Very good.
Or してもいいです。
Is okay to do. 結婚してもいいですか？ Is it okay to get married, for example? I was like, ダメですよ。
So I have a question. I see that under u-verbs, it converts to pursue. Shite is the same for suru, which is also shite.
Like 話してor して。はい。はい。
Okay, so it just has a similar ending. That's all.
はいはい。So, yeah.
Okay.
はい。
So how would I know if I'm saying to do or to die?
And T form?
In te form, wouldn't it sound the same?
No, because shinu conjugates to shinde.
Shinde.
Because it ends on nu, right? So nu, bu, mu, all conjugate to nde.
Got it. Okay.
はい。いい質問です。Good question. はい。So this is clear?
Yes.
Can you tell me where the moi comes from? That's like a question mark, right? It's just.
Yeah. It's not a question mark, right? Even though it's but I do struggle explaining it like generally because the demo E form you do not always. So I describe it as this action here. Is it okay to do, right?
Yeah. So tabe is like action.
Yeah, to eat, right? So is it okay to eat? But it necessarily this whole thing does not necessarily only occur in questions, right? So Katya-san's example, 行ってもいいです, right? It's okay to go. Because you can say 行ってもいいですか? Is it okay to go? Like you have 行く, right? Take from 行って and then もういい. So I guess, yeah, it's really hard to put it in words that make sense by itself. So
wait, so but the whole temoi is just like one chunk of it.
Yes,
Okay.
temoi is it's all chunk. So the verb in its te form with moi is its own chunk.
Let me try applying it. So what if I wanted to order something at a restaurant? Well, how would I say that?
Sushi o negai shimasu.
No, what if I wanted to ask
sushi
if it's okay? No, what if I wanted to ask if it's okay to order? I would say order.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, I entertain that thought. So order, you can say chumon, right? So chumon suru is to order. So chumon shite mo ii desu ka? Is it okay to order? You can ask that, right? So you have chumon suru as its verb, right? To order. So you put that into the te form. So suru becomes shite because it's our irregular verb. If we just learned the te form or relearned the te form of suru, it's shite. And then you attach mo ii, like, and then, but you make this into a question. So desu ka, you attach that. Chumon shite mo ii desu ka would mean, is it okay to order?
Chumon is the verb for ordering?
No, chumon is actually noun.
Oh.
So that's why it's like air quote, chumon suru is like to order, but essentially to do the order.
Oh, so chumon is the order and suru is the to do.
Hi.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Just like tenisusu is to do tennis and not to,
Right.
to play tennis, right?
Wait, how would I spell chumon?
Yeah, let me write it for you. Chumon. So you have chi, small u, chu, and there. Chumon.
No, I'm just gonna recap that. So chumon is the noun for order. Okay, I got it.
Hi.
So there's 3 different ways to use K form. There's a sequence of activities. There's attaching kudasai to make it a command. And then there's temoi, which is it okay to?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, hold on, wait. Temui. Let me write that one down.
Hi.
Got it.
One of the things that Jameson mentioned was prohibition. We use T form for that as well. Remember that? How would I say? It's. Mm-hmm. How would I say? You cannot eat. Like the pro. Mm-hmm.
Tabetemasen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So T form so you do not, you cannot attach like anything with mas directly after te, right? Okay. So it's tabemas, tabemasen. Those are fine. You can say tabete and then put another verb in mas form, like tabete nemas, like to eat and sleep. That is fine, but those are still separate functions, like te form and mas form. So you cannot combine them into one word.
I got it. I'm looking at the workbook. It's te haike masen. Haike masen. Is that it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So we have tabe. Make it a little bit more legible.
Haike.
So tabe te, we know this one. And then we have wa.
Oh, it's that's what I was doing.
Wa ikemasen.
All right. Tabe wa ike. Oh, I was reading it wrong.
So that essentially means, so te form, so you have a noun in, you have a verb in its te form, followed by the topic particle wa, ikemasen, right? Tabete wa ikemasen. And that's prohibition.
Okay, so the ikimasen is the conjugation of iku.
No. It's not. It's
which is why there's a mas next to a te form.
No, ikemasen it's a different form altogether, which we'll learn later on. So for right now, I would encourage you just to learn it as a set phrase.
Okay.
So
verb wa ikemasen.
Hi, verb in its te form, and then wa ikemasen.
Okay. Oh, let me write that down. Okay, got it. So that's the formula. It's verb in its te form plus wa plus ikemasen.
So then the response would be verb te for moi, that it would be okay.
Tabete mo ii. It's okay to eat. Yeah, so tabete wa ikemasen essentially means you cannot eat here. Like you're not allowed to eat.
But if you put a ka at the end of it, are you asking if it's prohibited? Or would you just use the moi form to ask if it's okay?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, te moi. So yeah, good question. I understand now. So you can ask tabete wa tabete mo ii desu ka, right? And then you would answer if it's not tabete wa ikemasen, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But then if it is okay, you could say tabete moi desu.
Hai.
Got it.
Yeah. So exactly. So if I ask, oh, here right now, can I eat here? Koko de tabete mo ii desu ka? And I'm allowed to. You can say, oh, hai, tabete mo ii desu, right?
Okay.
Or if it's not, ie tabete wa ikemasen. No, it's not okay to eat.
Got it.
Right?
So the act of eating is not okay.
Hai.
It's almost like what's going on here.
Hai.
Got it.
I think I understand.
いいです。 Okay. Shall we revisit what we just learned in chapter 7, I think? Te iru. Because that's te iru. Right? So if I say, and again, iru is a ichidan doshi, right? So we conjugated it briefly. Iru, imasu, imasen, imashita, imasen deshita, right? So we use that. So if I say tabete, I have so many markers here all over the place now. I think I used 10 different markers for like 4 or 5 colors or so. Okay.
So are we moving on to a whole other grammar point with te iru?
We moving on to te iru now. Yeah.
Okay. So this would be the 5th grammar point?
So we're done with prohibitions.
Hai.
What is te iru?
Te iru. So tabete iru, which we haven't covered in this form that much because Genki is like very much like, oh, must form. So tabete iru means I'm eating.
Oh, it's in when you're doing in the middle of actions.
Yeah, right now I'm eating. Tabete iru. Right?
So like when you call me and you're like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm eating, like in the middle of eating.
Yeah, that's very good.
But this also applies to losing weight and being married, right?
Yes, and this is
or gaining weight or whatever.
Yes. So so it's the same grammar point, right? But here it is. It's what Genki calls was it result of change or something like that? Result of action. A result of an action so the result is still ongoing while the action might have actually already been passed. So, but this is okay. I'm eating this right now. I can eat in the future, right? So essentially things that are easily repeatable, like I mean, it would be weird to say "Neiteiru," I'm sleeping right now, but I guess you can't say that. "Neiteiru," right? And then so we discovered this as tabete imasu, right? Because Genki, formal Japanese. So we conjugate iu into imasu, right? So we have tabete imasu. I can also often say that with ima, right? Right now, tabete imasu. I'm eating right now. So that is one way where we can use this form.
Okay, and then does it get all crazy and then turn into like tabete imashita and then tabete imasen deshita?
Right. Yep.
So I didn't eat right now.
Yeah. Yeah, tabete imasen. Okay, so actually, so you do this form actually, I mean, it even works with tabero, right? I'm not eating right now. Like ima tabete imasen, right?
Okay.
That works. So right now I'm not eating. What you said before, tabete imashita, right? For example, kino kuji ni, like yesterday at 9 o'clock, tabete imashita, meaning I ate. I was eating, sorry, I was eating, right?
Okay. So you're setting the stage with the time, which is why you would say, at that time I was not eating.
Oh yeah, for imasen deshita, yeah, I can also say that. So, well, like, no, I wasn't eating yesterday at 9 o'clock. Kino kuji ni tabete imasen deshita. You can say that, right?
Okay.
It has the notion of, right?
Okay.
Was doing, is doing, wasn't doing, etc.
Wait, so tabete imashita is I was not eating?
Oh, no. Tabete imashita was I was eating. Right?
I was eating, okay.
Yeah. Tabete imasen deshita is I wasn't eating.
Oh.
Right? Because the thing that conjugates is the iu. Right? This is iu. Right? So tabete stays and it's te form. And then whether you were eating or not eating, and if it's right now or in the past, that is determined how you conjugate the iu.
Oh. Okay, can I recap this so make sure I got it right?
Yes,
so
please.
It can count for am doing, am not doing, was doing, or was not doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
And you do that with a te form of a verb followed by the conjugation of iu.
Hold on. Conjugation of us.
Let me put just for reference again. So iu. So ichidan doshi. Okay, so
that means u-verb.
Right. So we have iru. It's a ichidan doshi. So non-past affirmative is imasu. Non-past negative imasen. Past affirmative imashita. And past negative imasen deshita. Right. And we can use that form of iru in whatever te form of a verb you want to use to, am doing, or is doing, is not doing, was doing, wasn't doing, right?
I could say kino, right? Yesterday.
Right.
Tabimashita. I did not eat yesterday, but if I say kino kyuji ni, now I'm saying like at this time, so I have to say tabete imashita.
はい。昨日9時に食べていませんでした or いました?
いませんでした. Yeah.
Oh, for
okay.
not, you didn't eat. So,
okay. So if I'm just saying like this abstract time yesterday, I could say, I could use just like the regular mas form. But if I'm picking a very specific time, I have to be a little like, it's like I'm living in that moment. And now I have to say it as if I'm in the now.
Yeah, you said something that is very profound, the living in the now. So if you wanted to, I guess, help the listener to be aware of the moment, you use the te iru form. That being said, it would be perfectly fine to even say, I ate yesterday, or I didn't eat at 9 o'clock yesterday, right? Or you can say, I wasn't eating yesterday at 9 o'clock, or, doesn't work with the order, right? But the grammar structure is a little bit different, but both are fine to say in English and in Japanese for the act of eating, right? But like you said, if you want to if you really want to kind of transport the listener into that moment, whether that is right now or yesterday or very specific time yesterday, then you can use the te iru form as well. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot be understood with the simpler form of tabemashita or tabemasen deshita.
Okay. So te iru is like using a flashback sequence.
Yeah, I like that. I think that is very, very accurate.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is the case for verbs that are repeatable, right? Like eating. And yes, you can also marry multiple times, but for example, right, to kekkonsu, right, meaning to have a wedding or to get married, right? So now Genki introduced this at I should open the page, but I think as a result of a change, right? The change here is getting married, right? So kekkon shite imasu now means that you got married and the result of that event is still in effect, meaning you're married, right? Same with to be overweight, right? Futoru just means to gain weight, right? So if I say futorimasu, right? It's like, oh, I gain weight or I'll gain weight in the future. Kind of weird, right? But if I just want to or I guess it can be used depending on, more words, more context, right? So, but futotte imasu, so the te form of futoru, it's godan doshi, so we have ru becomes small tsu followed by te, so futotte imasu, meaning I gained weight and I still have it, right? So the result, like nothing changed in regards to that. So meaning, okay, the meaning here means like I'm overweight, right? So the result of the change, just like, yes, there are words for like slender or thin. For example, hosoi is the e adjective, right? But you can use yaseru, which is ichidan doshi. So the te form becomes yaseta, and then imas, like I lost weight, or I thinned, I was thinning, and I'm still like nothing changed in regards to that. So, I got thin and I'm still thin, so therefore I'm thin. So yasete imasu is another way. Then there are other words. I put a list on the slides whenever we covered that 2 weeks ago or so, maybe. There are words like shiru. Shiru is often translated as to know something or someone, but it's actually meaning to get to know. So if I were to say, oh, I know James, right? I don't say James-san o shirimasu. That means I get to know him, like I will get to know him. But if I say, oh yeah, I know him, I say shitte, like shitteimasu. Like shiru shitteimasu. I know him. I got to know him and nothing changed. So I guess the English translation would be, oh, I know him, right? But the shiru means really to get to know.
So the notes that I have is state is maintained, to hold, die, fall, sit, to get to know, to lose, gain weight.
Hi.
And it's pages 171 and 172.
Hi.
Yeah. So seated near a window, has a lot of money, knows, is overweight, thin, wears, is awake, listen.
Hi.
And all of those use the te form, te iru form.
Hi.
Got it.
Okay.
Hi. And then I don't remember if I put some other words that weren't in the textbook on the slide. Maybe I did, but yeah, just be aware that sometimes as vocabulary gets introduced, depending on the resources, like those subtle differences, like there's a difference between to know something or to get to know something, right? Just like there's a difference between like to have a wedding or to be married, right? And unfortunately, a lot of resources do not go to length to those details. So if you don't, if your assumption of like a dictionary form of a word is already incorrect, right, then there are mistakes to be made quite naturally, because you still approach like the Japanese based on a false understanding as it relates how it would translate to your own language. But that's fine. I don't mean to sound all negatively or like, oh, don't make mistakes, because no, we all make mistakes. That's how we learn. So that's fine. Yeah, just try. And Genki does a good job actually in this 3rd edition, and really pointing out the differences. Not too much like irregular verbs, but like shiru, for example, I think it also said to get to know versus to know. So, hi. 大丈夫?
大丈夫です。
はい。Any questions regarding the T form for verbs?
Is that everything for T form for verbs?
There's a lot more things that we can do with the T form.
But I mean for now, like that we've covered to this point.
I think that's everything, yeah.
Okay.
Whew.
It's super important, and yeah, it takes a lot of effort to learn it. But
Yeah, I
the
think
pace of
I need to drill the applications and the conjugation. That's the part. I mean, I'm kind of weak in both parts.
yeah, the usage, right?
Yeah.
Right. Luckily, we see the T form all the time in Yotsuba, and starting with next week, considering our schedule, yeah, I think starting next week, it'll be actually a lot more fun. So the T form is the same formal and informal. The T form also doesn't make anything like polite or impolite, right?
Okay.
So you already have that. What you will learn actually is now how to use the T form also in informal Japanese, because you'll learn more about informal, what the forms of verbs in informal Japanese. So that'll be even more useful, and there you have more applications as well. So all the stuff that you're learning in this classroom environment, you'll be able to apply in your reading, and then hopefully we also do a little bit more writing as well, if that's what you want. Cool. All right, there is adjectives next that I want to cover.
Okay.
So for adjectives, we will also cover the T form, right? But for adjectives, we really have two types of adjectives, right?
Hey, Matisse, are we over time?
Oh, shoot, we are.
Yeah, I don't want to monopolize your time.
Yeah, because I have two clocks, but they're both different right now.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Okay, can you give me 1 second real quick? I'll be right back. Let me, okay, 1 second. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, yeah, because that way we could have verb form, and like this is something that we could like really like, because this is already so much.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like I have a much better understanding of like ru and u and like ichiran and goran doshi plus like their regular verbs, and then like being able to put that together with like te form and it's like 5 different uses so far, like that's already like a lot, and I feel a lot more confident being able to like review it in this form, and I don't want to mess it up with adjectives because I know that it's like the same but it's different.
Okay. All right.
Is that okay?
That is okay. Of course it is. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Okay. I will stop the recording then.